Welcome to South Florida saltwater fishing. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite.
Wahoo in the boat, baby! That kingfish right there. There we go. I mean, you talk about epic fishing days. Yeah! Nice bull dolphin right there. Double header! Woohoo! Look at that muzzle snapper!
Alright folks, in this episode, we're going to head offshore in a boat and go over some tips for trolling ballyhoo. Before we get into this though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, or just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss a thing. Alright folks, so like I said, we're going to head offshore. We're going over tips for trolling with ballyhoo. So we're not going to waste much more time. Let's do this.
Alright folks, so we ran offshore today out of Boca Inlet. Today what we're doing is we're trolling ballyhoo, fresh bait. We're going to show you how we do it, what speed we go, how long they will last, and see if we can get into the hookup and bring home some dinner. So to start out with, what we've got is pin-rigged ballyhoo with a 1/2 ounce weight underneath the chin and a dolphin-colored sea witch, fabric sea witch. The leader on this is 80-pound monofilament, and we got a size 8/0 hook. Then we're going to throw out a second ballyhoo, just bare, naked. Same thing, 1/2 ounce pin rig, 8/0 hook, 80-pound leader material. Now we're going to be using medium-sized trolling gear, 15 to 30-pound class. Going to be using a Penn 12H on a 7-foot star rod, handcrafted. Nice shock absorbency in that rod, flexes real good when you get that hookup. And we're going to be using a Penn Spin Fisher 8500 on a star rod Paraflex series, also 7-foot. Like I said, nice shock absorbency. Both these reels are spooled with 20-pound monofilament, and we've got an 80-pound leader. That way we can get that shock absorbency should we get into the hookup. We're not going to waste much more time. We're going to let out our first one, which will be our sea witch. Let these out about, 150 feet or so. So we're trolling 2 lines, so we're going to have a long one and a short one. The sea witch will be our long line. We'll see what happens. All right, that one's up and trolling. All right, now we're going to turn this way into our bait and let out our second line. So we're up and trolling. Right now we're doing about 5 miles an hour. We're gonna pick up the speed just a little bit. We've got our Penn 8500. That's got our bare ballyhoo. That's the short line, Penn 12H. That's our long line. That's got a sea witch on our ballyhoo. We're right around 730 feet right now. We don't really got the right conditions right now to troll for dolphin. We got the wrong wind, but we're gonna give it a shot and see if we can find them. Doing a little bit of blind trolling right now. Hopefully we can get into the bite. Okay, so if you've got a properly rigged ballyhoo, you can go about 7 knots with it and it won't wash out real quick. So as you can see, my speed is wavering right around 8 miles an hour, 7.5 miles an hour, which is right around 7 knots. Now, if your ballyhoo isn't rigged properly and the hook's set too far back, what it'll do is the hook will pull forward and your ballyhoo will curl and it'll start to spin, and you'll more than likely never get a hookup with it. So you got to ensure that your ballyhoo is rigged right. And a pin rig is always a good way to go. It sends a pin up through his bill, and then you sort of shut his mouth with a rubber band and hold that whole setup in place. That sort of prevents your ballyhoo from curling and spinning. We just got hooked up on the bare ballyhoo. Is he on, buddy? Yeah. All right, walk backwards a little bit. There you go. Keep going backwards. Good to go. There you go. Oh, nice dolphin. Looks like we got a dolphin on the ballyhoo. Right at around 850 feet of water. Got the fish slayer on. I'm gonna reel in this other one because I saw him hit this one. All right, so now we know they're gonna hit bare ballyhoo. Yep, this ballyhoo got hit. right, I'm gonna concentrate, get Abby up. Here he comes. Whoa, wait. All right, slow, buddy. Slow. Reel him in. Reel. Come on, bring him closer. Bring him closer. He's gonna be a flipper. Looks like a keeper. Dolphin in the boat. Dolphin in the boat on the Ballyhoo. So the beauty about a pin rig is that if your Ballyhoo gets hit or you catch a fish on it, you can always reuse it. You don't have to re-rig your pin rig. That dolphin, I actually saw him hit the skirted Ballyhoo with the dolphin colored sea witch on it. I saw him hit it first, but it didn't stick, which is why I thought to reel it up when Abby was wrangling the dolphin. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna stick with our setup and leave that one out because that was the one they tended to favor, but then he went and he hit the bear one on the rebound. So we're gonna get the lines back in the water, head back to about 850 and see if we can pick off another one. So that dolphin wasn't on any massive weed patch or anything. We got a bunch of little scattered weeds. So they're obviously gonna be probably more than likely swimming around in singles, foraging off the little bait fish that are hiding under these tiny packs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head back to about 850 and set a course north. Once we set our course north, then we'll see if we can, find more in that depth, because that's what you do when you find dolphin at a certain depth range. They're usually gonna be right around there. Alrighty, drag set. We're up and rolling. So these are tiny little weed patches, nice scattered weeds. So periodically you're gonna have to check your baits and make sure that you don't got weeds on them. Ballyhoo get hung up with weeds fairly easy, and any little bit of weed patch that you got on it is gonna turn the fish off. They won't hit it. So just, be mindful of that if you're trolling through lots of little scattered weeds. All right, so we're back at 850. What we're gonna do is we're gonna set our course north. So bait travels with the current of the stream. So if you're heading south, typically you're the odd man out. You're looking fairly unnatural. So what you want to do is you set your course north. That way you're going with the flow. So that's just something to consider when you're trolling, especially trolling with Ballyhoo and on the hunt for mahi out deep, out in the stream.
All right, so there you have it. That's the basics for when it comes to trolling Ballyhoo. You got to control your speed. Your bait's got to be rigged right. And you're gonna have to troll them both bare and with skirted top lures. My favorite topping lures for Ballyhoo are sea witches, especially the dolphin colored blue and chartreuse one. And now what I wanna do is I wanna show you really quickly how to properly pin rig a Ballyhoo so that it'll troll straight and swim in the water upright instead of on its side. That's very important when you are trolling Ballyhoo. You don't want it to look like a fish that's swimming on its side. It'll look fake. I mean, it will get hit because of the scent and the flash, but if it looks more like a real bait and it's swimming properly through the ocean, you're only moving your hookup ratio in one direction. That is up.
So to make the pin rig is not real complicated. We are going to take our crimp and we're going to slide it onto our leader. Now the orientation of the hook is very important. You want it to face away from the crimp to start off with. We're going to take our lead, we're going to feed that onto, now we're going to take our tag in and we're going to feed it back in to the crimp, and we're going to cinch down on this. We are going to take the pin and we are going to insert it. This is a double sleeve crimp, so we're going to insert it right into the middle of the two sleeves, and we are going to crimp it. And we just squeeze down, and there we go. We're going to bend it up this way, just like this. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to trim up our tag. We're going to take it, we're going to drape it over the pin, and we're going to take it and we're basically going to pull a loop. So you take that piece, pull that there, take it, pull it real tight. There is your pin rig. First thing we need to do before we rig the Ballyhoo is we need to do Ballyhoo prep, but the eyes got to come out. The eyes are out. I'm going to push and get as much of that out as we can. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to release the meat from the spine by pressing down, and you'll actually feel it pop. And you just gently work your way down towards the tail and up towards the head. Alright, so now we're ready to do the rigging. We've got our pin rig. You just kind of plant your hook right at the back of his gill and your pin right there, and you can always see and pinch right where you want your hook to come out. So we insert the hook and we start bending our fish over, and we'll get it to come out right about where we pinched and we planned on it coming out. There we go. We are going to insert our pin right in the middle. Now you don't want it coming out through the mouth. You want it coming out through the bone just behind the mouth. Just like that. Pinch our weight up in there. We are going to wrap the rubber band behind the pin. Then we are going to go in front of the pin. And then with our last pull, we are going to pull it over the pin. Now if it's not tight enough, you can always go behind your pin one more time, and then we'll take it, pull it over the pin. We'll trim up our pin just a little bit so we don't have too much of it sticking out. And there you go. That's a pin rig ballyhoo.
Alright, and there you go. That's how you pin rig a ballyhoo. And that's the easiest way I know of how to do it with that rubber band. It doesn't involve wires or anything like that. The little pin that sits up through the beak of the ballyhoo holds your hook in place. Now I've heard the complaint about ballyhoo being rigged improperly, and what happens is it'll curl up and it'll start spinning through the water. What that phenomenon is your hook is too far back, or it's not pinned, or it has no way to stop the hook from being pulled forward into the fish, which is what causes that curling action and causes the fish to spin through the water, and it won't ever get hit if it's doing that. Which is why you gotta learn to rig the baits right and have them swimming properly at the right speed so that they'll get hit. Alright folks, that about does it for this episode. Short, sweet, and to the point. Hope you had fun, hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a little bit from these tips on trolling with ballyhoo. Till next time, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.